All right, and we are back for episode 8 of the Quarry, resuming right now.
Well, they ain't getting through there in a hurry. Man, this place is huge.
I might need to rest a bit.
You'll feel better soon.
Cool.
I'm feeling pretty good, actually.
What are you doing? Stop it.
Do you smell that?
No.
Never mind. Let's just find another way down. A way to Chris Hackett.
Or just a way out, maybe. I'm done being chased and stabbed.
Sure. And another way out. Fine. Huh.
What's that?
Proof we're on the right track. Stay close.
Yeah, all the better to see you with, my dear.
Shh.
Wait, do we... I feel like I don't... Oh, are those the... What, they... We had syringes earlier in the story. They were the sedation syringes. That's the name that I was thinking of. However, I don't know how that puts us on the right track. We already knew that they were doing that, to her specifically. Yeah, the parts of the world that are completely black are probably not the ones that were intended to do a lot of... Nope, there's no way through here. It's impossible.
What was that?
I think we found Chris Hackett. Son of a bitch. Fine.
Bobby? The gun!
Thanks. For, not killing me.
Yeah. Likewise.
So, what now? Everyone's back to normal?
What? Oh. You think this is over? This isn't over.
I don't understand. Chris is dead.
Oh, Chris wasn't the first.
That's not possible.
Caleb. Kaylee. The girl you killed. Her brother.
What?
Caleb bit Chris and Kaylee. Chris was just trying to protect him. He was a good man, my brother.
Well, then who bit Caleb?
Silas. They've been tracking him for years. He's a gypsy, a transient. He'd been long gone from the area, but we hoped he'd come back so we could end this. Anyway, there's sightings up and down the coast. A feral albino child, giant white wolf.
White wolf.
What? What'd you say? Where?
Where'd you see it?
Hey, let him go!
At the cabins earlier tonight.
Okay. Okay. Okay, it makes sense. It all makes sense. He must have been back for months, and he's what ran you off the road 2 months ago. Help me. Help me. We can still save Caleb. We can still save what's left of my family. We can help those who are still alive.
It honestly feels like these two have come to an understanding, one that I never would have expected.
Why the hell should I trust you?
I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm telling you we can end this. We kill Silas, everyone gets better. Everyone who's still alive anyway.
Okay, so where would we even find him?
I know exactly where to find him.
Okay, let's go.
Okay?
This doesn't mean I forgive you for what you did to me.
I understand.
Can someone please get me some fucking clothes?
You had your chance. You had your chance to wipe out that wretched family, and you failed. Doesn't matter. There's still time. We can still come out on top. Past is the past. Let's just look to the future, shall we? The sun, the vitality of a new day. There's still time to wake up to the warmth of a night survived. Your choices, your actions, your very life hangs in the balance. It's up to you to find your path in the darkness and see the sun rise once again. The Hierophant. Where did you find this? Where did you find it? This shouldn't be here. He's been through enough pain. No. My poor boy. You see what that did to us? No. What have they done? What have they done? Ah! Mommy's coming, Silas. Mommy's coming, Silas! 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 No, no, no. My poor boy. You see what they did to us? How they hurt us. He's out there still, all alone. Each full moon they hunt him, armed with silver, trying to put an end to a curse they inflicted upon themselves when they set my show ablaze 6 years ago. Stupid children. Little Silas. My little white wolf. He must be protected. You must not follow this path. Do you understand? Remember how I've helped you all this time. Remember how much I've done for you.
What the fuck? Why am I on top of a fucking tree? Laura!
Blood. How the hell am I gonna get down?
Asked and answered.
Where the hell am I? Oh, yeah. Where the hell are my clothes? You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Gotta find Laura.
The fact that Emma took his clothes earlier in this, and it's another example of us getting the effect a fairly long distance after the cause. I really respect some of the ways that this is put together. Because if I remember correctly, I feel like there was an option, there was a direction that we could have gone with Emma that wouldn't necessarily have brought her to a change of clothes. So it didn't say path updated there, but I do kind of feel like this is the result of a choice that we made. It's certainly the result of a choice that Emma made. Also, since we have a beat, so the fortune teller there, who I've previously been just referencing generally as Lin Shaye, and now I'm very worried that I had that wrong. I didn't have any guesses as to her identity before this. Like, I wasn't thinking, oh, she's going to have a direct role in the story. I haven't exactly made up my mind, but I do have a sense of how this might go if we're presented with a choice. We'll see what comes up, and then we'll talk about it.
Totally should have just gone to the Harbinger Motel.
very, very quickly, because he just brought it up again. So when Sheriff Hackett there said, oh, the White Wolf, he must be back in town, and also he's the thing that ran you off the road all those months ago, my first reaction was, what the hell are you talking about? And maybe he also won the lottery, but he's back to get a new engine for his yacht. Like this was such a bizarre leap in logic. Why? What? Where is any of that information coming from? And then I remembered, well, wait a second. The sheriff did inspect the damage to the front of the car. I don't remember him specifying that there was a tuft of white fur or something, but that might make sense. That there was something about the damage to the car, some remnant of whatever they hit that was left behind, that made him think, oh my god, this might be the White Wolf. At the time, it was just some white fur. He didn't, like, maybe put it all the way together. But now that he has Ryan sitting there saying, oh yeah, I saw the White Wolf earlier tonight, now he's putting it together and saying, oh my god, it really is. That's my best guess, because otherwise that just seems like a completely wild assumption that the White Wolf didn't roll back into town 15 minutes ago. It's one of those things where I'd have to go back and see that prologue section again, that first encounter, because this game has a very interesting system of, it's not really dropping clues, but I feel like this would really benefit from a replay or rewatch to pick up on things that may not have been as evident on the first go.
She mustn't come back.
It's going to be so great when these two get reunited, and then Max reveals to Laura that he was planning to break up with her as soon as they got to the camp. Those plans got derailed by all of the werewolfing.
Okay. This better have a great fucking ending.
Damn it.
The table, help me.
Okay. Well, can't get much worse than it already is, right? Great. Just like the cartoons.
It's been off and on all night. Gives us a little time.
How do you figure?
They don't like water, remember?
Right. Oh, we should have just been swimming in the lake all night.
And die of hypothermia? No.
All right, well, we're good now.
Night's not over yet. These fuckers know we're in here, and they're coming back first chance they get.
Great news. Okay.
All right, we gotta get a vantage point. Come on.
I really thought that at least a majority of the werewolves would be down, and he went all the way down to the pier, I was thinking to myself, well, we're good where we are, but what did he come down here for if not to return to shore? He wants to reunite with Laura. He can be a help. And just immediately, for a split second, I thought that he was like gonna be able to jump back into the water, but
What the heck is this?
I'm a happy bunny.
we're not going to return this to little Izzy then? Well, hopefully it'll still be here in the morning. There has to be at least one survivor to give it back to little Izzy. Okay, nothing back in the cloakroom. Let me just look over the counter, just in case. Okay. Okay, I honestly thought that was going to be something. Weird camera angle all of a sudden. An even weirder camera angle. Can we go over here? No, I can't go to the right there. Uh-oh. Hold on, I don't know how to get... Okay.
Let's not, okay? Better.
I'd probably draw the curtains there as well. Out of sight, out of mind. Barricade this? No. It would be very fun to use the bear as a barricade. Push that over in front of the doors. Okay, we can't go into the counselors only area. Presumably because we are no longer counselors. We're really just trespassing. Also, they were all leaving, right? Did the counselors have a meal earlier tonight, or were they just planning to leave all of these filthy dishes here? From the kids' last meal. I'm going to stop asking questions about their very poor mess hall hygiene. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Can we see what that says? I'm curious. No, I don't think we're going to get the camera close enough. Something about coffee on that red coffee cup. Okay. I would rather have a cool deer painting than the head of a slain deer, personally. Let's see what's over here. I really wasn't thinking about, like, oh, that window that we opened up 6 hours ago, we'd better go close it. So now I just don't know what else we might find. Nothing specific. All right, I feel like we go upstairs. I don't want to spend a lot of time just wandering around dark corners. Yeah. Okay, I feel like we go upstairs. Oh, no, we don't go upstairs. So, oops, that might raise the question of what are we doing? I guess in my head it was go upstairs. But yeah, when they came in, they found that the staircase had been barricaded with small stools and chairs, and as we all know from playing video games, that's basically the same as like a ray shield from Star Wars. There's not going to be any way past that. This is the room where we just closed that one window, and here's a different set of stairs. This must be where we're meant to be. No, sir, by all means, you go on ahead. I have no good guesses on who those people are. Hackett's, one would assume.
Nice to put a name to a big mean face. So what, you're like Mr. H's brother, I guess?
Who?
The big dude from earlier, when you and Ryan went to the radio hut. Mr. H's brother, I guess?
Right.
Probably would have picked those things up as evidence. One of the things that we've been doing throughout this adventure is, oh, you found some evidence. And it did say, much earlier, that you want to have as much evidence as possible because if you're lucky enough to survive, you may have to explain things to the authorities.
Jeez, I'm see really struggling if they're begging for $1.
Chris Hackett is asking campers' parents for additional donations to help with lodge renovation costs. Isn't that what camp fees are for? Where else would that money be going? All right, we almost certainly have the gist of it, but I like to see, because sometimes there's cool stuff. Dear parents and guardians, when my mother and father founded Hackett's Quarry Summer Camp in 1953, their vision was to create a space where children from across the nation could experience the true wonders of nature, and I'm proud to continue their legacy to this day. The camp's lodge has stood proud since we first opened our gates. This legacy, and indeed the lodge itself, is now at risk. Having sought advice from a structural engineer, it appears crucial repair work is required on the masonry of the chimney column. Don't worry, your children are not in danger, but I must inform you that as of next year, we will be increasing camp fees by 5% per attendee. When times get tough, I'm reminded of our camp motto, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. With this in mind, I hope that together, we can make Hackett's Quarry stronger than ever. Thank you to your continued patronage, yours with gratitude. Well, see, this is why I'm glad that I read it. And also, I like that that's a signature there. Like, that looks like a pen, not a font. Is this begging? This seems like a notification. Hey, next year we're going to be raising prices, and here's the specific reason why. It's not greed. It's not to afford my new Maserati. It's that, you know, we have to do some renovations on the camp. It doesn't say, by the way, that the cost will be going back down afterwards because, well, of course they wouldn't, but that's... When she's like, oh, he's begging the parents for money, I thought it was going to be like a fundraiser. Hey, you know, pour us if there's anything else we can help out. It turns out that we have a real appetite for silver that we don't really want to talk about. Can anybody help us out with that? It's not really what the letter says. It's a fairly reasonable notification of here's what's happening. Eliza was killed in the fire that broke out at her traveling show 6 years ago. I guess that's the name of the fortune teller then? Her ghost roams the woods of Hackett's Quarry ever since, and she's been determined to get revenge on the Hackett family for what they did to her. Her tarot cards, once lost in the blaze, have allowed her to guide you through the night, though her motives may not have been as transparent as first thought. Transparent? What are you talking about? What did we think? Who did we think that she was prior to her telling us? I'd never found anything about her transparent at all. She was like, hey, do you want to see a glimpse of the future? Sure. Well, why not? And one from the very first one that proved to be very helpful with the engine fire, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, if we find the tarot cards, that's a cool reward. We don't need to see it if we don't want to, but other than that, it seems like a good heads up. Aside from that, her motivations being transparent, I've never once mistaken that as being transparent. Also, it was probably in the newspaper article that we read about the fire, or maybe an additional piece of literature that we didn't find, but I did not know that her name was Eliza. Fortunately, the tarot card was here to let us know. I was thinking that there wouldn't be any tarot cards based on... Hold on.
How long has this guy been here?
Large and overbearing, this regal oil painting of Septimus Hackett holds pride of place on the lodge's chimney column. Holds pride of place. I don't feel like I'm familiar with that expression. I probably would have said holds a place of pride on the lodge's chimney column, but
A long time ago. Long enough ago that it was okay to have an oil painting made of yourself.
I kind of want an oil painting of me now.
let's, just in case there's anything else up here.
Maybe I should keep looking.
I really only feel like it's whatever's at the end of this, because we've looked upstairs. We can't go down this staircase, I don't think. This is the one that's all blocked up, isn't it? Yep. But go back. This might be a different upstairs. Okay, we'll check that in a second. Let's check these rooms.
Poor Ian. Some camp mascot to kick it before camp starts. Well, hindsight.
I want to hear her out, but a memorial to the deceased camp mascot, Ian. From the looks of the drawing, Ian was a sheep, though nobody got to meet him this year. That is the collar that we found at the very beginning. I was always wondering... It seemed like it was implied at first that Ian was the name of the monster. Now we know a werewolf that was met at the very beginning in the prologue. And I could never figure out why that person would have been wearing something akin to a dog collar. Would have been an odd fashion statement. Although, I have to say, not an impossible one. Now we know that Ian was a sheep, probably fed to the werewolf.
Sounds about right.
We have a camp mascot?
Well, no, we did. Wait, you didn't hear?
Hear what?
He died before we got to camp.
Bummer.
Nothing else back here. Oh, I was about to say, based on how we left things with, I guess we'll go with Eliza, I thought that we were done with the tarot cards. I thought that whatever you found, and there wasn't going to be any more... There weren't going to be any more hints forthcoming, but then we found the High Priestess. I'm assuming now that that's the last one, but as we can see, it's not such a strong assumption that I'm not going to look around. Okay, so we found that other up. Oh no, where was it? Was it in here? Yes. You found the fusion cutter from Dead Space. Now you can unlock the good ending.
Where have I seen this emblem before?
Discarded jewelry, thrown off in a scuffle. The encryption reveals that it belonged to Bobby Hackett.
What is it?
A ring with a crest on it.
Oh, very fancy. You can never pull it off. Sorry.
That's another thing that we're not interested in having for evidence.
I remember Mr. H's cheesy-ass announcements. Whoa.
Careful with that. That's a camp relic.
Relax. It's dead anyway.
Ah. R.I.P. Megaphone.
I was thinking that feedback sound might be an effective werewolf deterrent. They don't like loud, shrill noises.
What's this? Trail cam footage. It's like they're looking for something.
Yeah, in Chris's surveillance room. He's storing all the footage. I think you might be right.
Oh, wait, we are collecting. I'm so sorry. We are. It's just the fact that we see her throw them down, but these things are getting listed as evidence. Archived trail cam footage from Hackett Woods dating back 6 years. I'm playing by real world rules, which is, oh, I should, keep this video cassette someplace close by where I'll be able to find it. Okay, not a true... I always like to check out reflections in video games. Not a true reflection, but something. Although it's one of those weird ones where, see how she's facing away and we get the reflection of her face? Super, super disconcerting. Okay, now let's go back to the painting. If there's someplace else to look, I feel like we've been very thorough.
Every dusk and dawn all through the summer. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. We're here to lead the way. Mates for life, we're proud to say. Shout at Stratton, shout out loud. We're Hacketeers. 2 months and you never learn the words? Showtime, motherfuckers.
Fuck this whole night. I just wish I could tell you I'm sorry. More than anything. Fuck. I just wanted one more night together. Is that too much to ask for? Shit. Stop crying, you big baby. I don't know what to do.
What is going on out there? Should we go find the others?
No, we're safer in here and it's nearly morning. What the? It's Caitlin!
Holy shit.
Well, we gotta let her in.
Oh, we can't. The office door's locked from the outside.
There must be something we can do.
Yeah, but what?
Silver shells. If we can time it right, we can give them to her. She passes. If she passes.
Beam. What is beam?
Come on.
Over here, Caitlin!
Caitlin, you don't have time for that. Come on.
It's Silver!
Hey, I'm here!
Fuck you. I got you, motherfucker.
You got it?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
So what exactly happened 6 years ago?
There was a fire that wiped out dozens of people, and now there's werewolves and a ghost that roams the woods looking for her lost baby boy. Which I've just put together is Silas. Oh shit.
It's a long story.
No, it's not. There was a fire. Silas the wolf boy escaped, bit a bunch of your family. You failed to stop him.
Burn.
What happened in the past doesn't matter right now.
It kind of does, actually. We need to know what we're up against, at least.
What we're up against is a feral boy turned werewolf who for the last 6 years has avoided being found. No matter what we did. Every full moon we were out there looking, every single one. Now the son of a bitch is finally here. So what we're up against is my only chance to end this thing for good.
So how do you even know where he is? How the hell are we gonna find him just driving down the middle of the road? Travis! Travis, get it together, come on!
I got it, just get down!
Where did he go? He can't have just disappeared.
He's gotta be nearby. Let's look around.
Are you crazy?
Is Ryan okay, or did he get out and walk? There he is.
Are we there yet?
You're okay.
Been better, but yeah.
Over here. Got some blood. Leads through there.
What the hell happened back here? Whoa.
This is where we went off the road 2 months ago.
You're trying to decide if you should shoot me in the head right now. Go ahead. If that's what you want, I won't stop you.
What?
Normally, I'd have werewolf's blood cover our scent, but I'm all out, so we're high risk. We could be killed. You ready to end this?
Let's fucking do this.
Go team. It all makes sense now.
You've got wolf blood?
Found it in the woods. Travis just reminded me. You should take it. There's not enough for the both of us.
No, I can't do that. It's yours.
You've been through a lot more than I have. Anyone deserves to get out of this alive, it's you.
Oh no. Because what I would do based on all the information we have is give it to Ryan. This is the same reason why we bit him. I didn't get around to talking about that yet, but he's got a sister, he's got a mother, he's got a family that he's very worried about providing for, and we don't have all those details, but it was enough for him to seek mentorship from Chris, Hackett, but she doesn't know that. This is a stranger. She's going to be hunting this thing. I think that she's still carrying the gun. Honestly, who is and is not carrying a gun seems to be a rather elastic concept in this game. Do we take or give? I think she feels well equipped. She's going to give it to Ryan.
This is yours.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we'll be fine. I got this. Ugh. Pungent.
Rather stinky than dead. I mean, not. I'm sure you'll be fine.
I think she feels like she's gotten this far without it, and that she can make it a little bit further. And she has the gun, and he doesn't.
God damn, this place has got some uncool vibes.
Podcast didn't do it justice.
You don't know the half of it.
This is where I saw her.
Her?
I thought Max hit her, but then I was out here and she was something else.
Who?
The old woman. She was saying something over and over again. Oh my god, she was saying Silas.
No, that's impossible who you're talking about.
I saw her too. In the run tunnels.
It's Eliza Vorez. Silas's mother. I think.
Who was she?
She ran a traveling sideshow called Harem Scarum. Came here 6 years back. She kept her son in a cage. Called him Silas the Wolf Boy. Died in a fire. Some say she never left.
The hack of Hackett's Quarry.
We've been looking for Silas ever since.
How did the fire start?
Really? You're still hiding stuff now?
You blew half the head off my niece, Kaylee Hackett. One of the kindest, gentlest souls to ever walk this earth. And all she wanted to do was help that little boy. Locked in a cage by that freak show witch.
What did she do?
She just wanted to help him.
Travis.
She convinced Caleb to start a fire. It was just a distraction. Some hay bales. Give him enough time to get Silas out of his cage and give him his freedom.
That's not what happened.
No. Because within minutes, everybody was dead. You ever see Hayburn? Liza? Whole crew. Kaylee managed to get Silas to freedom. But Caleb got bit in the process.
That's why you've been hunting him. Silas, I mean.
Every full moon for 6 fucking years.
Some hunter you are.
This is all that's left.
Jesus Christ.
Man. Any sign?
Negative.
Damn, I never saw any of this.
I didn't even know this was here.
Ryan? Shit. I'm sorry, that was...
Close. We must be close.
Did you both...
See it too?
Kinda wish I hadn't.
Sam. What is it?
Silas, the dog boy.
That must be it. Careful.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
My God.
What's wrong?
What are you waiting for?
Shoot, you stupid girl!
Are you sure about this?
Shoot.
Oh, it's twitchy. Oh, it's twitchy.
Please, let's just go before we have to see him like that in human form.
It's too late for that.
I bet you think you have it all figured out. I bet you think you're fucking clever. I tried to help you. I tried to warn you. I even started to like you. Not now. Not after this. I will not forget what you made them do to my Silas. I've been with you all night, and I'm not about to stop now just because the night's come to an end. No. Whenever you hear a noise in the dark, a whisper from the shadows, the breath on the back of your neck, that's gonna be me. I'll be there. Now I will never leave you. I'll never leave you.
Oh, I could hide neath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring, but it rings and I rise, wipe the sleep out of my eyes. My shaven razor's cold and it stings. Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? You once thought of me as a white knight on his steed. Now you know how happy I can be. Oh, and our good time starts and ends without dollar one to spend. But how much, baby, do we really need? Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen. Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen?
Summer camp tragedy. Freak bear attack leaves several dead. What do you make of that, Anton?
I love that term, several. Like, the detectives are just, they don't even count the bodies. They're not like 1, 2, they're like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you know what? It's several murders.
You know, it might be a tactic, though. They can't give out that information yet. Sometimes detectives are notoriously difficult to solicit information from, especially when you go in saying, "Hi, I'm a paranormal expert."
I thought we'd done the whole Hackett's Quarry thing.
Not this Hackett's Quarry thing.
What was this, like 3 months ago? Old news, dude.
Anton, introductions first. We are Bizarre Yet Bonafide, the podcast of the paranormal. I'm Grace.
And I'm Anton.
And together, we explore the possibility of supernatural involvement in real life, everyday occurrences.
And that's exactly what they are, real life, everyday occurrences.
With a shadow of spiritual, supernatural occurrences.
No.
Okay, so I hope you've got hat insurance, Anton, because I'm about to blow your mind.
Did you just ask if I had hat insurance?
Yes, it's responsible to insure those things which mean the most to you.
A hat.
Yes.
Okay, I know where your priorities lie. Go on.
Anyway, there actually is a real reason that we're coming back to Hackett's Quarry. There've been some developments, and I've sourced some information.
I remain skeptical, but I'm all ears. Under my hat.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Oh God, why? Why are you smiling? Stop it, I hate it.
Why? I had braces. I have to make use of them sometimes.
You do have very pretty teeth.
Thank you. That's something that a lot of podcast listeners might not know about me. So, it just so happens I've got someone on the inside. So today's episode is going to have a bit of a show and tell vibe to it.
Who do you know on the inside? The inside of where?
What?
You know someone on the inside?
Don't we all have someone on the inside? You know, an inner critic that says, "Stop doing a podcast, no one's listening."
You should listen to that voice, Grace.
Okay, well, what I really meant is, let's call it an anonymous donation. You know, we're not the only ones who flagged this as a bizarre situation. Someone actually reached out to us. They sent us a package.
You didn't open it. I don't trust anyone who listens to this show.
Oh, I couldn't wait to open it. Surprise!
Anonymous donation?
Okay, you've always promised me since day one of this podcast that if you could see true evidence, you will consider all options, right? Did you not say that?
I did say that, yes.
I mean, I know
knowing for a fact that we would never see any evidence, I did say that.
Okay, well, we've been sent information and we need to decide whether it's bizarre or bona fide.
Okay, fine. Let's do this. For anyone listening at home, we are about to open a package from a mysterious person who listens to this show. If you are the one who sent us whatever it is, congrats, you got us.
Sorry, the tape is just really, there's just so much tape on the package. Sorry, can you help me with this? Do you have like a key I could like slice at it with?
No, I don't want you to dull my key. Just use your fingers.
Just give me your fucking key, Anton.
No.
Give me your fucking key.
No. Get your own key.
It's not like you lock your door.
Of course I lock my door.
What are you hiding?
What am I hiding? Do you not lock your doors?
No, I have nothing to hide.
You think that ghosts are real, but you don't lock your doors?
No, ghosts couldn't open my doors. They could walk through my walls, Anton.
Okay, you need to be more concerned with murderers.
So, remember those missing hikers?
Yeah.
What if I showed you leaked photos from one of their cameras? Photos that show them at Hackett's Quarry, supposedly where the camera was found.
I would think that maybe they went there and they dropped their camera.
Okay, Anton, let me ask you real quick. What makes you drop your camera?
Tripping over a root. Being jostled. In uneven row of cobblestones.
What about being murdered? If you dropped your phone, you wouldn't go missing. Where are they now?
I don't know. People get lost in the woods all the time. There's like hundreds of people a year. They could be anywhere.
That's not all.
No?
Mm-mm. I'm about to lay a little something else on you. My sources also tell me that their backpacks were found at the summer camp.
Really? Then, okay, well then, shouldn't this be public knowledge? Why aren't the Hackett's prime suspects?
Exactly my point. Maybe they would be if anyone knew where they were. Is it all just a big cover-up operation?
Yeah, that's where it falls apart a bit, in my opinion.
So, we've got to talk a little more about the Hackett family.
Right, so these guys are like the heritage landowners, right?
Mm-hmm. Yup. Their great-great-great-grandparents were trappers who claimed the land way back when.
They just claimed it?
Yes, they did. They put their flag on it just like the man on the moon.
The Hackett family flag, right.
Well, apparently when they claimed it, they found quartzite.
Quartzite?
Okay, I was hoping you would ask. Fun fact, every building in the whole of New York is made of quartzite.
That's not fun or a fact.
Most of them are. But I digest.
Digress?
It was a pun. They dug the quarry and hit great heights of success before Septimus Hackett, classic bad guy name, the seventh son of the trappers, the number 7, has great supernatural powers, closed the mine down.
Okay, so then they only had the land to live off.
Yes, you say only, but this land actually spans acres. That's a lot of forest, a lot of unexplored darkness.
Ooh, okay, a great place to hide, to have all these dark secrets for this strange, reclusive family.
And this is where we start to get a little more into paranormal territory.
Okay, here we go.
Acres and acres of haunted woods.
If you say so.
Pop, pop, peanut butter, butter pops. Pop, pop, pop 'em in your mouth.
Is this still the podcast?
Welcome to Bizarre Yet Bonafide, the podcast of the paranormal.
Welcome back to Bizarre Yet Bonafide. Anton, today I'm actually going to pass you some light reading.
Okay, you're gonna make me read this? All right, this is...
What you're seeing now is a copy of a letter that Kaylee Hackett wrote to her grandma. Allegedly.
All right, this seems like more of a you job, but I suppose I can read this.
I feel like if some of the evidence comes from your mouth, it will have more clout.
Right, okay, here we go. Gammy, how long we gonna drag this shit out? I know family is the most important thing, but I want to know what's outside the forest, outside this damn house and camp, and I sure as hell know that ain't about to happen 'cause of who we are. Maybe we can explain what's going on. Fucking show people. Then they'll know we got no control over it. I know you just trying to protect us, but one day you won't be here no more, and right now it feels like we stuck in a dark hole. I can't sleep, Gammy, or if I do, I dream about that fucking fire. We were just dumbass kids back then. I wish it never happened. Love K XOXO. That took a turn.
Yes. Dream about that fucking fire. Does that not read as the haunted scribblings of someone who saw something that they shouldn't have seen?
Yeah, no, I'm fully creeped out.
She was clearly going through some stuff.
And this is legit?
I mean, I don't know why someone would fake it. Then again, I can't verify any of this. So, you've got to suspend your disbelief slightly.
Man, this poor girl.
Yeah, there was something going on, something eating away at her. And that's what I want to explore.
Okay, well, consider my disbelief suspended. For now.
So, I don't think that's going to be a problem for this next one.
Oh god, why? Holy shit, this is a cease and desist letter.
And it's addressed to us.
Dude, why didn't you tell me about this?
Well, it was never actually sent.
That's mad shit, fam.
What?
Signed by Travis Hackett.
We're not doing anything illegal.
Aren't we?
Think about it.
I guess it wasn't technically sent to us.
Cease and desist letters come from people hiding stuff.
Okay.
And next we have this empty vial thing.
Now, to me, empty implies that it was once full.
Samesies.
Bloodstains, maybe? Filled with blood?
Looks that way.
Freaky. Some kind of ritual thing?
Do I detect a hint of belief?
Love a good ritual. Kinda fucked up that these guys know who we are, though.
Okay. Anton, what you see next pretty much confirms it.
That you're a crackpot conspiracy theorist, a loser?
Shit went down at Hackett's Quarry this summer. Real, supernatch shit.
See, you always say things like this, and you're always overselling it.
You always have to oversell something to even sell it. That's capitalism, baby.
All right.
Okay, this is actual footage from one of the trail cams in Hackett Woods.
Oh, cool. A camera in the middle of the woods? Did they find a squirrel?
Be honest, if it was mounted on a mountain bike, you would watch that whole video.
Yes, of course. Is there a mountain bike involved?
No, but take a look anyways.
Okay. That is a bear?
That is a bear to you? There is no way that is a bear.
Okay, well, a skinny bear?
Okay, this could be some of the clearest footage of something like this I've ever seen.
Right, it's kind of blurry, though.
Blurry and convincing. Sometimes the truth can't be contained within the lines.
Right, yeah. And also, footage is pretty easy to fake. Technology is super scary.
Yeah, but what the hell were the Hacketts doing with footage like this anyways?
Huh. That's a good point. Weird little video of a skinny bear. Yeah, I don't know.
Again, you keep saying a skinny bear. Have you seen a skinny bear?
Yes, that's
Bears
very
are
sad.
huge. Oh.
Yeah, polar bears, it's hard for them to find food sometimes. Don't feel too bad for them, though. They're nasty.
Okay, but putting the Hackett family aside for a moment, there's more to this. Are you ready for some real spooky shit?
I'm ready for real spooky shit. I don't know if you can provide it, but please try.
Don't get too freaked out.
I'll try my hardest.
Okay. Do you want to hold my hand?
No.
Okay. Do you need someone to comfortingly pat your back?
Please just say what you're gonna say.
Do you want me to turn all the lights on so you don't
I don't
get
want
too
you to do
scared?
anything. I want you to say what you have.
So this, to me, isn't overtly supernatural, but it'd be unfair not to discuss it.
Okay. I mean, so far I wouldn't describe any of it as overtly supernatural, but sure, let's do this.
Okay. Claw marks.
Wow, you're right. Claw marks. That is underwhelming.
But I'm kind of interested because whoever did reach out thought it was worth sharing.
Grace, it's highly likely this is all just an elaborate prank.
True. But if I treated everything like that, then I wouldn't have a job.
Fair point, I guess. Okay. You know what? It's weird. I'll give you that.
Oh my god.
I just said it was weird. Don't make a big deal out of it.
Oh my god, I've done it.
You haven't done anything. I said it was weird.
I've done it. I've turned you. I've converted you to my side. You're a believer now, right?
I will never be on your side.
I won. I won.
You did not win.
This is a contest and I have prevailed.
You have not. Look, I just mean I can see it. The lack of details in the news report and this stuff. I don't know. Whatever it means, there's merit to the idea that something strange went down.
Strange. Interesting word choice. So, what are you saying?
Shut up.
Come on.
No.
Give me what I want.
I'm not giving you anything.
You've practically given it. Just give me the succinct soundbite I so desperately long for.
Okay, I never agreed to this title, but I would agree that for the first time ever, this case could well be bizarre yet bonafide.
This is the best day of my life.
And that's sad.
Why? Is it not yours?
No.
So what now?
We gotta send this stuff to the police. They can decide whether it's useful or not.
I just wish we could know more. I wish we could just look into a crystal ball and see how it all played out.
Yeah, but what fun would that be? Sure, we could speculate, but we weren't there. We didn't go through what these kids went through. There's no way we'll ever really know what truly went down at Hackett's Quarry.
Who the fuck even are you?
I'm being genuine.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
You just launched into precisely the kind of content I've been trying to make.
It's just the first time we've had a coherent thought on this podcast.
Wait, I don't know if there's more podcasts. This might be it? Okay, I think that might be it. That might be the most elaborate outro that I've ever encountered. They didn't go over every piece of evidence that the counselors picked up, or probably even most of them, but on the ones they did, they seem to have a solid 5 to 15 minute patter about it. Bizarre yet bonafide, everybody. The Quarry. So, where some narrative games will pause at the chapter breaks to recap some or all of the major choices, the Quarry just rolls right ahead towards the next story point, so I did too. Probably a good way to get started then is to go quickly through the main plot and we'll just see what highlights. So, 6 years ago, a carnival came through, the Harem Scarum show, and Chris Hackett's kids felt badly enough about a wolf boy in a cage that they decided to get him out by setting some hay bales on fire as a distraction. Silas the Wolf Boy actually was a werewolf who bit Chris's son Caleb, and then Caleb infected his sister Kaylee, and the infection spread from there. And actually that jumps us all the way to the end, because we don't know where Silas has been for the last 6 years. The Hackett family, with Bobby and Travis and Grandpa there, they've been out hunting him for over half a decade, and as near as I can tell, never even caught a whisper of him until now. For all we know, and this is exactly what I was thinking during that final choice, for all we know, Silas has been out in the surrounding counties, the outskirts of small towns and campsites and whatever, infecting other people. We know about the people around Hackett's Quarry, but we have no idea how many other lives might have been destroyed because this one werewolf was apparently running free. Now, this game didn't open up with news about the Great North American Werewolf outbreak or anything. This hasn't been sweeping the continent. Or, at least not yet, but it felt like things were really on the brink here. We know Werewolf Max was on the island where he almost got Emma. We know Kaylee was on the loose because she got killed by Laura. Werewolf Nick was out. He was probably the one that got crushed by the car. And then I think he was the one who got shot by Caitlin in the lodge. There was already a lot to keep track of, and that's with the Hacketts having 6 years to practice how to keep things locked down. The whole situation was ready to break containment, and that's without even getting to the part where Silas has been off-leash for an entire Snyderverse. That's why Laura shot Silas. That's what I wanted to get to. It wasn't about revenge or just casual cruelty against someone who really appeared to be suffering a whole lot. It was about delivering the only available cure to every surviving werewolf, including, potentially, people we've never even heard of. But, so going back to the main story, it's the last day of summer camp, and all the kids are leaving in their bus, and all the counselors are supposed to be out before sundown. Except Jacob, who can't stand that his summer fling with Emma is about to be over, sabotages the van so he can have one last night to win her over. That's not gonna happen. That was never going to happen. You have lived and worked in close proximity to Emma for, I guess, 2 months now, and from everything we've heard, Emma consistently said before, during, and after that this dalliance was not going to continue past the summer. And probably around that same time, we now know that Laura and Max had escaped the sheriff's office and gotten set up on the island where Max could be isolated while Laura went hunting for Chris Hackett, who had a big freakout over the busted van and hurried into the sunset, which I was thinking Chris knew it was going to be a bad scene that night and had wanted everybody evacuated before sundown. So I'd been thinking it was weird that he wouldn't pack his own vehicle full of counselors and bring them into town himself. But now we know what Laura knew. Chris was a werewolf the whole time. He needed to get himself chained up. I didn't have any remote suspicion of that, so well done, game. Plot hole resolved there. The counselors decide they're going to have a party with this truth or dare session that gets real uncomfortable and splinters them apart into small groups. And I really like the timing on this. It happens before anything too ominous has happened, and then we don't know if the bad thing is going to strike Abby and Nick in the woods, Jacob and Emma at the lake, or Caitlin, Dylan, and Ryan over at the fire, or all of them. And you know what would have been awesome? And I know this would be very expensive and super complicated. I fully understand why they don't do this. But it would be awesome if the first werewolf strike was randomized between the different groups, so that would give some variety and tension for each person's playthrough. It would also completely reshape the story based on who gets bitten. It's not really feasible without like 5 times the budget, and like, spoiler alert, I think I have some other ideas on where that money could be spent. So Nick gets bitten, and this kicks off my favorite part of any werewolf story, seeing that transformation from a normal person into this savage rage machine. And really, over a very short period of time, we get Nick using super strength to get away from Bobby, losing his cool and getting more angry, more aggressive, more cruel towards Abigail, even hurling her across the pool house before he does that explosion into his monster form. I don't feel like I've seen a werewolf transformation that involves just blowing up with this big gore splatter all over the place, but it's very dramatic and it worked really well for this story. About Nick becoming more of a jerk, maybe this is a good time to talk about how this group of very good friends interact, because I remember in the first episode, I'm thinking to myself, okay, either the writers here have never hung out with a group of friends shooting the shit and blowing off steam, or I haven't done that. Because the way these camp counselors talk to each other just felt like really nasty a lot of the time when it didn't need to. I feel like what they were going for was a group of buddies who get along so well that they can razz each other, give each other grief, and it's no big deal. This is just how they show their affection and maybe blow off steam after a whole day of shepherding children around the camp activities. But in the execution, it was like, ha ha ha, your girlfriend dumped you. Oh, you're afraid to ask Abby out, ha ha ha. It's like, it's all these things the characters already seem to be a little sensitive about, and then their friends are there to bullseye into their insecurities. If I had some feedback on the writing, if I had a chance to do a pass in the script, especially those early parts, I'd want to start off with everybody getting along super well, sharing inside jokes, embracing the last couple hours hanging out together after this awesome summer, but maybe there would just be these little hints of friction from earlier in the season, and then when things get bad and the tension really ratchets up, having that good-natured camaraderie burn away, and then all those implied grievances could start driving them apart. And you as the player, as you learn more about these little things that had happened earlier in the summer, you get more agency in choosing which characters will nurse those grudges versus which ones will leave them aside. I just think that that would be a better way to handle that. Some of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes go that way. The suburban dinner party of awesome, loving neighbors who turn on each other like rabid dogs once they think that lives are on the line. I think the Quarry could have been a great setup for testing the limits of loyalty and civility through this incredibly dangerous night. But here, it felt to me like these people were mostly friends by proximity, and while they were sad to see a nice summer end, they'd mostly be content not to see each other again. Oh, and speaking of people I wasn't expecting to see again, Laura shows back up with an eye patch and a body count. She's just killed Kaylee and left her floating in the pool for the Hacketts to find later on, I guess. This was one of my favorite things in the game. I talked about it at the time, but I fully believe Laura and Max were tutorial fodder. And even though we didn't get any closure on their story during the prologue, I just assumed that the characters were going to open up some meat locker someplace and find their bodies being ground into sausages. I thought they were completely out of the story, and then they not only turn back up in the final act, but they get an entire chapter of clarification on where they've been and new information to bring into the story. I loved her whole werewolf hunter vibe, and the reveal that Chris Hackett and his kids were werewolves all along, and the fact that killing a werewolf with silver would cure everybody that they had infected. And I adored that this put Laura into direct conflict with Ryan, who had been repeatedly established as someone who looked up to Chris Hackett as a mentor, and now was going to need to square that with the knowledge that Chris was a reluctant and exceptionally dangerous predator. I was so into this. And then Laura gets bitten, which heals her eye, but then also puts her on the same clock that Nick was on. This is A+ werewolfing for me. It also reminded me of something that I'd intended to go back to in that same episode and then forgot with all of the everything. When Ryan got stabbed in the rib cage, and Laura, who knows enough medicine that she was supposed to have been working in the nursing office all summer, Laura offers to infect him to save his life. And this didn't really come up in conversation, but I was thinking about how this would give Ryan some understandable motivation to kill Laura at the next opportunity. The story doesn't wind up going that way, but the fact that those were the kinds of stakes that I was thinking about at that point still got into my decision making. I had Ryan agree to take that curse and survive because of his sister and mother. That was the whole thing he was going to Chris Hackett about. He wanted to go away to school, but he wasn't sure if his family could make do without him. So I'm thinking Ryan's going to do whatever it takes to make it through the night, because we don't know much about Jacob or Dylan or Emma, but Ryan's got people at home who are relying on him. I very much like stories where the characters have compatible goals, but their personal motivations are only going to take them so far in the same direction before tensions will start to split them apart again. Now, from there, Laura and Ryan have to go to the Hackett house, which I feel like we can mostly yada yada past. The Hackett house was mostly given to this long, strange, and sometimes fairly inscrutable chase sequence where the counselors are trying to get away, but then there's all of these frequent camera cuts and blank generic rooms that make it tough to parse where anybody is in relation to anybody else. That was something that came up a few separate times. I felt like there was a good amount of effort put into adjusting conversations to account for how many counselors were there to participate, like how many of them had survived to that point and could toss in their 2 cents. But then some sort of pursuit sequence would kick off, and I felt like the scene would be pretty confused, honestly, about whether Caitlin had a gun. Like, okay, remember the scrapyard scene when the werewolf was clambering around on the car as it was hoisted up by the crane? That vehicle, it's suspended by this giant electromagnet, and I'm guessing that a gun wouldn't work in there, but it would have been cool to see it snap to the roof of the car and get stuck, or like maybe Caitlin had dropped it on the ground before getting in. I might have missed it, and all I know is that last I saw, she had a gun, and it's not accounted for during this scene where she's just sort of yelling. I just got the sense while playing the Quarry that they put a lot of time and effort into the environmental design, which looked fantastic and had some really sharp musical choices, probably a huge amount of money into the voice cast, which I thought was phenomenal all the way across the board. But there are other aspects where it felt like they just had to make do with what they had, like some really abrupt cuts right in the middle of an action sequence, or they felt like continuity errors over which character had a weapon. I think it was when Caitlin was skulking around the lodge and I failed a don't breathe event, and suddenly Bobby, this big muscly guy, was just right there, right in front of her, with no connecting scene of how he crossed that distance. The big one for me was the performance capture. Now, I wanted to save my thoughts for the end here because uneven technical issues usually just start to blend into the background for me as I get more immersed in the story. That is what happened here. The story and the great voice work did a solid job of making up for some issues with the facial capture. It was just off, very, very odd most of the time. The character models look good when they're just looking around or making some more subtle expressions, but then when they'd get to talking, there was just something wrong about their way that their mouths moved. This, I don't know, this might be a deep cut, but it reminds me of how the characters in The Sims 2 would converse with these big, exaggerated mouth movements. It might also have been that the game loved to have the camera like right up in the characters' faces a lot, these extreme close-ups where one person's face would be like 80% of the screen. I felt like everybody looked a lot better at a more medium distance, and the characters like Lance Henriksen and David Arquette's character, who were mostly shot at a longer distance, just came out looking the best. Well, also, Caitlin, Jacob, and Laura, for just whatever reason. I don't know if those actors just happened to go last into the performance capture rigs and maybe the crew had improved something in the meantime. I just thought they looked the most organic out of the main cast. From there, because this is an ensemble game and because it has 9 playable characters, I think I'd like to do a quick ranking, like a Tiermaker list of them. I've talked a lot about some of them where they were pivotal to the plot, but everybody played a role, and this will give us a chance to touch on all of them. Oh, and before getting into this, let me be clear that this is about the characters within the story. This is not about the quality of acting. The acting in The Quarry was solid all the way through. And an actor who turns out to play a scummy sleazeball character that you really hate, they've done a great job of delivering on their role. I've played games with bad acting. I can think of at least one narrative game with dreadful voice acting. This isn't it. And any place where the facial capture was feeling a little unnatural, that's not on the talent. So this next part is only about the characters that were presented and how they acquitted themselves inside the story. All right, and let's do this like alphabetically. So Abigail, I can see right on the whiteboard where they were sketching out these characters, Abby is the sweetheart. She's kind, she's empathetic. Abby wants to get along with everyone. She does get along with everybody. And she's got this crush on Nick, which has probably been simmering for most of the summer, but she was nervous about approaching him. Abby is also an excellent artist, or at least by my standards. I really liked that part when she was doing that quick sketch of the landscape, and she explained that she just needed to rough it in so she'd remember it all for filling in the details later. That's probably just standard artist technique, but then it comes up again later when she doesn't know how to describe the monster, but she's able to draw it for them. In most horror scenarios, I think Abby would probably be like the third person to die, after all the real jerks are down and it's time to raise the stakes by taking out some of the best friend characters. There, she'd probably be like a B, but I like the interaction that she had with Nick as he was being transformed, so Abby gets an A from me. Then there's Dylan. Dylan. What can you say about Dylan? He's good with electronics in a way that doesn't ultimately help the situation at all, and it wasn't even a very good try. He technically got that radio working, then sent out this super casual distress message that sounded more like a stoner screwing around with a transmitter. He did take a crane out for a joyride at one point, so there's that. And Dylan had this weird fixation on having a gun that he plainly didn't know how to use properly, to a point where he continued to have dialogue options long after other characters had come to terms with the fact that the weapons were in better hands with other people. For the most part, I found Dylan to be a dour, pessimistic sad sack who could reliably point out problems, but never seemed to have anything to offer on how to fix them. And I felt like he believed werewolves were like allergic to irony, and that if he just shrugged with enough resigned indifference that they'd lose interest in him. Dylan is not my guy, and he gets my one and only F. And I still wanted to keep him alive, and I felt badly that he lost his hand. He was trying to help as best as he could. He just came off like such a pessimistic jerk all the time. Emma was interesting. The first time that we see her, she was doing this enthusiastic wave goodbye to the kids on the bus, and she had this lingering look down the road like she was genuinely sad to see them go. So I picked up on that, and here I'm thinking that she was a really dedicated camp counselor, even when it seemed like to the other counselors she kind of liked to stir up the shit with them. And so then there's the whole thing with Jacob. We talked about it a minute ago, but I think it's very clear based on their interactions that Emma had set very specific parameters around their relationship. It's for the summer, that's it, and she's not looking for anything beyond that. I would say actively disinterested in anything beyond that. Jacob does not handle that well, to the point where he sabotages the van and strands everybody in a situation that... So, like, granted, he didn't have any reason to think it was suddenly going to get lethal, but obviously he was just showing no concern for anybody else's schedule. Like, nobody else had any place to be. And it's like, brother, you've been around Emma for 2 months. She knows what she wants. Sorry, it's not you. It feels bad, but you have to accept it and carry on. From there, Emma does 2 things back to back. First, she takes that opportunity to have this showy makeout session with Nick during Truth or Dare, which it has the effect of hurting Abigail, pissing off Jacob, and seems to make Nick pretty uncomfortable with the whole thing because he likes Abby. Nick was just expecting this quick kiss and got dragged into this whole situation that really had nothing to do with him. My read on that is that Emma was feeling pretty worn down and irritated by Jacob, so she decides to show him in a way that he cannot possibly ignore, I am not into you. That was probably a rash decision in the moment, and then when it wound up being more cruel and hurting more people than she'd intended, unfortunately, then she kind of overcorrects by agreeing to spend time with Jacob in the lake. She felt bad about going too far. She actually does care for Jacob, and I think that she told herself, well, summer camp isn't technically over, so maybe we can share one more night together. The trouble there is that Jacob plainly cannot handle a friends with benefits relationship, and I think that this would have reinforced the idea that if he was possessive and jealous and aggressive enough, somehow he was going to be able to keep Emma's affection. That was never in the cards. So a lot of this read comes from this one conversation with Abby that Emma has much later, where Abby observes that Emma always wants everybody to be happy, and Abby wonders if that's why Emma does so much social media. Abby's operating from 2 months of time with Emma, so even if we don't know the specifics, I think that we can take Abby's assessment of Emma's character to say some of the actions that could have seemed callous or flippant in the moment were probably motivated simply by being inexperienced in how to handle Jacob's pushy neediness. And to be clear, Jacob is the aggressor here. He needs to figure his shit out. It shouldn't be on Emma to find a way to navigate through his turmoil when, from her perspective, this was always a casual fling. This all comes to, I think Emma made some uneven calls, almost entirely born out of trying to find a way to communicate with someone who was just incapable of hearing what she had to say, and it made things a lot worse in the process. Emma gets a C from me for the tier list, and honestly, I think if we'd gotten to see her over a longer period of time, especially interacting with the campers when she wasn't being stressed out by this weird breakup and the death monsters, she probably would have been a B. But kind of mixed bag between some of the things that she did and the reasons why I think that she did them. Jacob's a D. He's a D. The only reason Jacob is not an F is because he shared screen time with Dylan, and Dylan sucked. Jacob has everything we just talked about, and then he functionally spends most of the story running around in the woods in his Speedo, yelling in the dark. I honestly think his surviving the night is just about the least likely outcome, so I'm glad that we pulled him through. Dude has a lot of growing up to do, and I am glad that he'll get to do it. By the way, just like it's okay for Emma to say, hey, let's have a sexy fun summer and then go our separate ways, it is okay for Jacob to be like, well, I'm looking for something more serious. I do tend to grow attached very easily, and I can't really do casual flings. Different people look for different things in love. That's cool. But Jacob needs to understand that about himself so that he isn't jumping into those casual flings and then blowing up when his bigger aspirations aren't reciprocated. I also want to say, I think Jacob is the clearest example of an actor doing an excellent job of portraying a character who I don't like very much. That dude knew the assignment. He needed to be a meathead lunk who rolled ones in wisdom, and I completely bought his performance. It's either an awesome acting job or inspired casting, but somebody really nailed it. Next is Caitlin. Caitlin was interesting because she struck me as having all the qualities of a good leader, except for that final step in confidence to step up and do the leading. She kept her cool in tense situations. She handled a gun better than anyone else and had both the wisdom and certitude to keep it away from others, and the others never really argued with her. I mean, these people They argued over pretty much everything, but when Caitlin said no, it was no. And she didn't let fear stop her from doing what she needed to do. She checked the lodge out by herself. She volunteered to go to the scrapyard in search of a vehicle with who knows how many werewolves prowling around. Caitlin was scared, but she always faced it like she was moving someplace with purpose. If they ever did a sequel to this, and for some reason these survivors were going to hunt more werewolves, I could very easily see Caitlin plus 3 years being in charge of that expedition. I don't know, I just liked her, and Caitlin gets a B. Laura, S tier. She was probably the most complete character arc in the whole story. She went from nursing assistant to prisoner to werewolf hunter, and then to werewolf and back. Laura had a lot going on. We covered all of it earlier, but I really love the whole journey. She's my first S tier member of the cast. Since we talked about it, we can probably continue on. Now, I thought Max was gonna rank very low for me. I didn't like Max. I didn't like the fact that he took his eyes off the road for like 20 solid seconds while driving down this pitch black forest road. I didn't like the fact that he refused to get directions. When Laura saw somebody in the basement at that very beginning, I didn't like the fact that he walked down the stairs with her and then had a seat, not even humoring her enough to look around. But the thing with Max, he was unexpectedly funny, like deceptively so. In that same scene when they were going down to the basement, Laura's calling out, "Hey, are you hurt?" And Max just goes, "Hey, do you exist?" And then the one that really got me, and I think you know where it is, was when they were still in jail and Laura's having this revelation, like, "Oh my God, I saw his name tag, T. Hackett. Do you think he's related to Chris Hackett?" And Max goes, "The Chris Hackett?" "Yes." "Who is the Chris Hackett?" Max is so downbeat. He's so deadpan that when he delivers a line like that, he reveals that he was so zoned out of the whole thing that he never even knew the name of the guy who ran the camp he was supposed to work at. So when he's funny, it's just such an unexpected surprise that Max really grew on me. Max is a C. He gets a C. And believe me, I would not have thought that he'd rank that high during the prologue, but he won me over. Now, for Nick, there's not a lot to say about Nick's personality. He's British and nice. Nick is the male Abigail, a sweetheart who's really easygoing, gets along with everybody, except where Abby is a sketch artist, Nick, through a bounce in the plot, becomes a werewolf. And, I mean, in a werewolf story, that's a pretty cool thing to be. When you're dealing with werewolves or zombies, vampires, mummies, you don't want to get bitten, but you very much want to see what happens to somebody who does. And I may not know this from personal experience, but it seems like that would be one of the most fun roles to play as an actor. You start out as one person, but then over a fairly rapid arc, you get to exercise your acting talents to twist that person into something else. Nick is gentle, he's an easy guy to be around, and evinces some vulnerability with the fact that he had this huge crush on Abby, but shared her same anxiety about approaching her. He has that moment where he reveals that he would walk by her art class with the kids, and Abby immediately works out that there was really no reason for him to be out that way. But then, after he's bitten, there's that scene where you're playing as Nick, and as this lycanthropy is taking over, I'm here choosing the most understanding and kind responses available, and they're just erupting out of him like these bitter accusations that Abby's only pretending to like him. Nick didn't get a lot of screen time compared to some of the others, but the time that he did have was used really effectively, and he got the honor of filling out one of the coolest parts of going full werewolf, so he gets a B from me. And then finally we have Ryan. I've already talked about him a lot, so I don't think it'll be any surprise that Ryan is an S-tier character in this story. Laura ranked really high because she has the most complete character arc in the Quarry, but Ryan ranks super high because he is the most thoroughly realized character, full stop. We know so much about this dude compared to anybody else. Ryan loves a spooky podcast. He got in trouble for sharing stories that were too scary for the camp kids. He wants to be an animator, but he has a mother and a sister who would really struggle if he goes away from school. From that, we can infer that it doesn't sound like there's a father or another parent in the picture. They're financially not well off. You can tell a lot from that scenario. he was consulting with Chris Hackett about what to do, which gave him this important pre-existing relationship with a character who, I mean, we don't really get to see a lot of Chris Hackett in the story. And those are all things that we learn about what Ryan had going on before the main story even started. In a big ensemble cast, Ryan is the closest thing that this story has to a main character. I think he pretty clearly got the most thought and attention from the writers. I'm not sure if he actually had more screen time than Laura, since she had a full chapter all to herself, but he was definitely a more consistent presence throughout the whole story. And I particularly liked his performance. I'm not familiar with Ryan's actor, and maybe this is just the way that he talks in this super laid back, laconic all the time style, but it really worked in a story where it sometimes felt like the characters would be sniping at each other in this weirdly aggressive way, and then here comes Ryan with what just feels like this naturally flat affect. If we were doing this in order of my favorite characters, Ryan would have been at the top of the list. He would have been the first person that we talked about. I thought he was a super likable point of stability in this story where things are popping off in all of these unpredictable ways. I just thought he did a great job. And that does it. Those are my thoughts on The Quarry. I think for me, this is easily my favorite game coming out of Supermassive since Until Dawn, and while there were some odd technical weirdities with all the facial capture, I'd love to see this team do more of these larger and more ambitious projects. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you again in the next fun playthrough.